I have skied every month of the year for the past 48 months, all in Colorado. This is how I did it. The season started off like any other. Here I am, November 2016, riding the lifts at Eldora with my wife Elise. December took us to Avalanche Creek, outside of the Redstone, Colorado area. This was a super mellow tour along the Creek Valley, and actually we loved it so much my in-laws ended up moving up to this area 2 years later, so we still go up here a lot. January was getting nice and snowy, so we headed up to Cub Lake in Rocky Mountain National Park. Cub Lake is much more of a ski tour than a downhill backcountry ski, but it was a beautiful winter day where we got to enjoy some mountain scenery and log month 3 of what would be our turns all year. In January, we also went out to Butler Gulch, which is much more of a downhill backcountry ski. We had some phenomenal powder turns up here in Butler Gulch and love this place. We'd be back here later this season. In February, it was into the resorts to go ski the Cirque at Winter Park. This is some amazing inbound terrain that has a nice sled access and lets you lap it all day. Of course, we still got some great backcountry in February, heading out of East Portal or Moffitt's Tunnel in the Front Range. A great day headed towards Heart Lake, skiing some low angle terrain and just enjoying that backcountry wilderness. And really, we just skied a ton in February, with another trip out in Butler Gulch for some more fresh powder, and then a beautiful sunny day in Eldora to just enjoy the winter turns. Then in March, for month 5, we headed over to Crested Butte. My first time at Crested Butte did not disappoint. We got some fantastic fresh turns in some of their hike to terrain. Month 5 not to be outdone, we still took some turns at Copper, had a fantastic classic Colorado winter day with sun and snow. In April, we made month 6 pretty special by heading out for a hut trip. Granted, I still didn't know this was month 6. I thought I was just having a normal ski season, which was about to turn into my 48 straight months of skiing. Unfortunately, the weather wasn't the greatest on that trip. The snow conditions were pretty rough. We just toured around, got some views, and we got a couple of soft turns on the way out. But it was still an awesome trip with some good friends. In May, some friends had given us some free tickets to Loveland that they didn't use up, so we went and got some more fresh turns thanks to a late May snowstorm at Loveland. My first time at Loveland, absolutely loved it. Really nice terrain. Then in May, I took a very late spring ski tour, which would really be the start of my summer skiing career. This was my first time going for a tour without skinning from the parking lot when I had my skis on my back. I went with 3 really good friends, and it was on this trip that we decided we would start trying to ski every month of the year. Here we went to Lost Lake, which is right outside of Eldora in the Front Range of Colorado. We got way too late of a start. The snow conditions deteriorated way too rapidly, so we actually barely skied. Spoiler alert, this will be a trend of the next 4 years of skiing in the summer. Still, it was on this trip that I really got hooked on summer skiing and what would start my career of turns all year. Plus, on this day, I got to do one of my favorite things, which is ski in the morning and go camping in the afternoon. To me, that's a perfect day. Then for month 8, June 2017, it was time to really start to earn our turns. I decided I wanted to try to ski Sawtooth Mountain. This was a mountain I had seen a few years before while skiing a different mountain, and it just looked like an awesome objective to me. The problem with Sawtooth is it's really far back there. There's a road, but that road never opens because it's always so snowy. And so what we decided to do was actually bike, then hike, and then try to ski. We had a really early start, so we were actually on the snow at a pretty good time, but the problem was the weather still shut us down. As we were boot packing up our snow face, the clouds rolled in and it was time to turn around for safety. We got some great skiing in some proper alpine, and we'd be back another day to summit and ski off the top. Luckily, as we dropped elevation, we got out of the clouds, had a beautiful walk home, but still, it turned out to be a huge day. Something over 12 hours, car to car. Big day for us, our biggest day yet, and really highlighted how much fun we could have skiing in the summer in Colorado. After the absolute sufferfest of an approach that had been Sawtooth, we looked to use our trucks the following month in July to get a little closer to the snow on the approach. I really pushed the old Tacoma up the Rock Creek Trail outside of Allen's Park to get up St. Vrain Mountain as far as possible. We use an extremely old trailhead, but it's still a trail, to take it a very direct route straight up the mountain towards a snowfield. Another part of our summer skiing adventures that was quickly becoming a staple was absolutely just bushwhacking. Like I said, this trail system was really old, so it was really overgrown, and we lost the trail a few times. Once we broke into the Alpine, we were able to see where we were really going. This was a really fun day because we were able to summit Mount St. Vrain, get a look back at Sawtooth we had been on a few weeks before, get a look over to Long's Peak, see into Rocky Mountain National Park, and then get some truly great July corn turns on an awesome snowfield off the north side of Mount St. Vrain. This was a fantastic summer ski day. For month 10, August 2017, we found ourselves heading to Skyscraper Glacier up on Rollins Pass for the very first time. This was our first time to the glacier, and man, were we impressed. The hike in is just beautiful, and when we got to the edge of the glacier for the drop-in, we were quite taken aback. This day was especially fun because not only was it my first, but also my wife and her friend came with us, so I had my usual crew of skiing friends, but also got to share the alpine adventure with some new people as well, and that really made it special. With the summer fading into fall and still no new snow, we headed to a classic summer ski, St. Mary's Glacier right outside of Allison, Colorado. This is actually such a short hike up that we decided to go a little further and try to summit James Peak. This was the dawn of Team No Summit when we quickly discovered that you can't just decide to summit things just for fun when you have a spare 10 minutes. Not summiting things will quickly become a staple of our summer skiing adventures as well. Once back on snow, we got the gear locked in.
What do you have your DINs at, Kelly?
Oh, tight as I'll go.
And took our approximately 100 yards of crusty, junky fall turns. In October, the last month we needed to complete my first month of turns all year, we waited to as late in the month as possible for some fresh snow to show up. Once the snow showed up, we headed back to a familiar place, back to Mount St. Vrain. We knew there was a good approach with the trucks, we knew the hike was steep but short, and we knew that there was some fresh snow up there that was probably blown into a nice snowfield. As always, it was super windy up on the Continental Divide here in the Front Range, but we got some nice wind buffed, soft turns, and this was the first time we started to do some one and done runs. Took one quick run and back to the car, counted it. 12 months, we did it. With 12 months of turns all year complete, I was super stoked to have started this new hobby. I knew there'd be much more snow coming to Colorado soon. I knew that my months were only going to start to get easier, and so I was going to commit to a second year of turns all year. However, unfortunately, there were some different plans for me. I took a trip down to Mexico for a bachelor party, went surfing, and had a little accident. Yo, I hit a rock. I think I'm bleeding. Keep an eye on me. With that, my second year of turns all year quickly got into jeopardy.